Hello, this is Brian Whitten and ETR. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I just wanted to start this video. If you haven't watched this video, I'm going to let this play. I have put this on once or twice and I want you to watch what happens here. This is my, not bald head, but it looks pretty closely shaven at that point in time in my life. So I'm going to press play and I'll just tell you what was going on when I made this video. This was called a programmable rock, and I had these lines show up on this rock and they had never been there before, even before I started making the video. You can see here is my microscope and here is the rock. Right, so I take the rock out, I blow it away because I thought those lines were in actual fact dust as I'd cleaned the rock. I put it back in under the microscope. I find the same place on the rock where we were. I then start talking about it. Like I said, this video is called a programmable rock. I made the video, called it that, because I've had lines come and go off this rock and I, tried to come to some conclusion as to why it was happening. But I want you to watch now here and watch this one come out here and a delay of getting written. This one comes later. Draws a nice little pyramid for me here. As you can see, I'll play that again so you can see that nobody's touching anything, because here is the rock in question right here. I'm putting the rock back under here, that's why this is moving. Now I've just left the rock. Now watch what happens again. I'm putting this in here. I know when I put my videos up, I sound certain I'm right. I sound certain I'm right most of the time because I've been helped by those that are coming to get it right. So I don't mean to sound, an egomaniac here. If I was an egomaniac, the channel that this is on has mistakes in every video. It's been a path of learning, so the mistakes are still in the other videos. If I was an egomaniac, they would be taken down. They're not taken down. I am like this and I feel certain because I've had their help all the way along. Now the purpose of today's video is not to convince you I'm right. I really don't care if you believe in what I'm telling you or not. I know it's right. It is going to be a lot go down, and that's why on our earth at the moment our leaders are doing a lot of things that are, well, essentially I think they were going to attempt to have a war with people who are coming back here. I think they've now realised that's an impossibility. You're not at war with people with a couple of 100 million years more advanced than us, who by the way, they are basically us anyway. Long story, if you watch the channel to now, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The only reason I wanted to bring this picture up as well is to show you yet again that this one here, we are very clearly seeing this figure here. These rocks are manufactured, they're not natural as you think they are. And this is on all river rocks. Some river rocks are more easily visible. Down in this corner here you have a little bloke sitting in a UFO. He's got two people sitting in there going along, dropping all the little rocks off, which is where this all comes from. Now I have watched a video. I can't put the link in the description for you because I didn't actually make note of it, and I should have, but I am under the belief that scientists have actually examined river rocks, because I've sent my work to a lot of places, everywhere in Australia in respect to universities. I haven't even heard a beep out of any of them. That's how gutless all these people are. They call themselves scientists. You can tell them these things are on the river rocks and they don't want to know, because it conflicts with what they're teaching in the universities and what the human history is in relation to the royal families of Europe. That is our version of history. It's totally incorrect, and that is what's going down. You're going to get history lessons. They certainly won't be from me, but if you've been watching my channel, you've got a bit of a head start, so to speak. So I just wanted to show you that one. That was one of those images taken off a rock. It is obvious when you see things like this that this is manufactured. This doesn't happen naturally. It's not pareidolia or whatever you want to call it. It is designed and created to produce the image you see when you use a sidelight. You have to use a sidelight You also have to use a cheap USB microscope like the one I just showed you in my first picture there, because a bifocal digital microscope you cannot shine lighting from the side at all. It's certainly a poor man's discovery because you cannot see this. Like I said, I have seen the scientists. They have put up a video. They said they checked the outside of the rocks with an electron microscope and found that they are in actual fact multifaceted etched particles that are all being put together in logical format to be able to produce the images. That is what's going down. The main reason for today's video is the following. Now, the main purpose and reason for the video today was to straighten up something, not necessarily a mistake, which is unusual for me, but more a better understanding of something we've already been told. I found this on a river rock. This is the rock here I have there. You can see the size of it, it's only a small one. I will insert a picture for you of what it looks like. When we come back to the TV now and look at our image, I saw this when I saw this on the rock. I thought, this is a crater. It's telling me about a crater here. And as I'm moving the rock across, I've inserted these as pictures, so I'm just going to go through one picture and then the next picture and explain to you what I understood from looking at it, you know. So I'm looking at a crater here, and then I move across to the right side of the rock, and if I'm looking, and this is a map, we're looking north, south, east and west. So east of this crater, I'm seeing this happen. There's a big line coming down here, and albeit I know it's only just a little dot like this here, but when you've got the video running, this gets really bright. So it's a UFO crash. And if you look at this, you're looking at the west coast here of America. It's telling you where the thing's landing. Here's the fingers of Lake Superior up here, telling you that this is that the Lake Superior has got something to do with this. We're seeing here a UFO crash east of a crater. I'll show you something. This is the next image. Winslow Crater, Arizona. We know where this one is. It's very, very well advertised. Let's zoom in here for a minute. I would challenge every physicist there is on Earth to tell me how a meteor can hit Earth, make a round hole, without it coming any direction but, number one, opposite than the direction of the planet. So in other words, the planet here is going 66,000 miles through space, and it's going like this. So this has to be coming this way for this to happen. It has to go hit this way. Remember that the planet is also spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. How can it make a round hole? I do not believe for a minute these are generated through meteor impacts. It is impossible. It's got a round hole. If this thing was hitting, to make a round hole, it has to hit like this, like a bullet directly above it. That is exactly how it was done, but it certainly wasn't a meteor. And they've just told us it wasn't a meteor. That's why it's on that rock, and I'll show you why it's there. I will insert this picture for you so you've got a clear image of it before we look at it on the TV, because I do realise you do not see quite so much here. Now back to the TV, if you would, and we've discussed in my other videos these 4 points and how they came about. This one here was the pillar, the Utah pillar that was placed directly above this. I will insert this picture for you again. It's a carving in the mountain of a hominoid and his dog. It's actually very obvious. It was directly above the Utah pillar. Our location B here was 666 kilometers from that Utah pillar to here, which is the Roswell crash, which actually wasn't in Roswell, it was in Corona, which is the town nearest Roswell, but in that direction. So That is our Roswell incident, or corona incident, which I said was telling us that everybody at this present point in time had the ability of, at least the device that was left there in Roswell was, in actual fact, a device that was being used for interplanetary travel in a binary star system. And that's what I thought was there. That is a little bit right and a little bit wrong. That's why I've come back to make the video. Point D up here was not guesswork. We also know this one here, which is the finger of Lake Superior and the most westerly side, is not wrong, because we know this line here goes all the way down to Paracas. It's 6,888 kilometres exactly. And 6,888 kilometres I've already spoken to you about in my other videos. 6,000 is the length of the cycle, 888 is reflective. More than one thing, but it does actually reflect where we are, roughly the amount of population going to be taken from Earth. It's 876.9 million. That is what's getting taken away. They are going back to 4 other stars, which is why we're seeing 4 locations here. Now, the reason I wanted to show you the crater and where its location was, and the fact that there is a crash, that is where the crash is. That is where the crater is located, the Winslow crater. So we're getting told, if we go back to that image again now, the first one, if we look at it, we are saying, look at this line go across here. It's a very deliberate line drawn across, right across those images, see? Right across here. So it's telling me to draw a line the same, and if I draw a line the same, it's saying to me, or to us, this is our 666 million year evolutionary path being shown us here. That is why we see a hominid and his dog here at this point, and the crashed UFO here, because they're saying from the time we first learnt how to domesticate an animal to the time we all had craft and could fly interplanetary in the binary system that we're in, it was 666 million years. But we've been just told something else. As I've told you, this meteorite impact like this being round, this is not coming from space. This is being lifted aloft and propelled within the atmosphere. That's what's happening here. And that is giving us a marker here of how long ago they had the power of flight, the power to lift up and propel at a planet. In other words, they're already manipulating planetary mass at this point. And this is some, well, you know, if this is a 666 year, we're 450, 470 million year mark here. So we're talking that we're talking about space travel here for possibly 150 to 200 million years. That's what we're actually seeing in that situation. And we're not saying that this was a situation where everybody could fly. It was a situation here where everybody could leave the solar system. In other words, they waited here for an evolutionary period to happen here, so that people that couldn't fly here and go all over wherever can here. That's what this is telling us. It's not the other, it's the other way around. I was suggesting we were not interstellar at this stage, nor intergalactic. But I don't think, I still think to this point, when the problem happened with our galaxy, I think we probably hadn't gone to another galaxy at that point. You'll find a video here that says that this is the second galaxy we came to. I think when I've looked at this now, I think it was the other way around. I think going through this black hole that we probably had to do, or they probably had to do, they learned something else as well, and I think that's how they learnt to become, you know, but they may have had to have waited some time, you know, millions of years have passed here, so I'm really unsure, but I'm certain that this message here is telling us that this, the ability to fly, leave weightlessness, you know, weightless flight is here. It's hundreds of millions of years before this UFO. The UFO here is saying they're waiting purely and simply from an evolutionary perspective. All of the people that are from all of the planets in the binary system have evolved to the point they can travel through space. That's what I believe we're getting told, that they waited. And the reason for that, and the importance of that, is to let you know that they didn't mess around with our DNA to do it. Right? So in other words, the fused first and second chromosomes were not there. So this is waiting a long period of time. There's no stalking with our DNA. They're letting nature do what nature does. They're doing it the right way. However, when the galaxy starts to get pulled through from their behaviour, why are they going to go and do this? Why are they going to go and try and manipulate matter in the centre of the galaxy? I think that's the question they want you to ask ourselves. Well, the question they want us to ask ourselves is why? I would suggest that they were doing that in the middle of the galaxy because the elements, the very same thing they've got here, the elements in the centre of the galaxy that they were in, which is this galaxy on the other side of the black hole, were younger. So they tried to age the elements and make them more usable and stable, but they started and did it in the middle of the galaxy, caused the problem, caused a black hole, and pulled the galaxy right through it and had the problem with everybody then. It may have been their movement through that black hole many, many millions of years ago. This is probably 20, 30 million years ago, 33 million years ago if we look at when it actually started. But you know, they may have, in the period of time in that 30 million years, also understood, having travelled through the black hole for the first time, how to get to other galaxies, because there is certainly without doubt, we've covered up until this point the fact that there are people like us in other galaxies. It's without doubt that that message reads that way. So I just wanted you to be aware that that message there is telling us that they've had the ability to lift up a rock, a big rock, and pelt it back at the planet way back here, 150 million, 200 million years ago. So I would expect they were certainly interstellar, but not necessarily galactic here at this point. They're probably not at another galaxy until such time as the problem, and the problem, once again, has given them knowledge of how to get to other galaxies far more quickly, what would seem an impossibility in our current time, that's for sure. There is one or two more things of great interest, so stay around. Now I'm just going to press start on this video. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this video today. I had hummed and hawed whether I was actually going to do it at all, but I thought, no, I will. There are some unbelievable things on this little rock, and like I said, look how big it is. That's some of the stuff that's on that. Once again, I thought I was beyond, and I just picked that up the other day, and it did have something that I thought was important enough. Certainly what I've shown you already is important, but I came to the understanding with everything that we've learnt to this point that Earth is not always where it is in relation to the Sun at the moment. It's sometimes beyond Mars. The cycle is beyond Mars. It's out there, and to be honest, it's on the outer ring of rotation, which is 40 million miles beyond Mars, for as long as it's on the inner ring. It's exactly the same period of time. So in actual fact, when it's out there, it's certainly not, you cannot live on Earth. So there would be other planetary mass within the inner rings of rotation here that residence will be given, I guess. It's just not on Earth, because Earth is beyond Mars, and that's what they say they do. I want you to watch what goes on in this video. I won't let you watch a whole lot of this because I do realise photographing the television is not quite as good, but some of the faces that come out here are absolutely amazing. There's another face up here looking this way, which is why I go that way on the rock. You get absolutely amazing faces and images in here. I won't dawdle with that at the moment. I'm going to zoom along to the part I want to show you that is important, because I had this opinion that when I had seen all these images, I'd become aware of where Earth is. So I move this across here. You can see that I'll just go back so you can see I'm moving across. I'm seeing this guy's face here, which is why I'm going that way, because this guy's looking that way. That's generally how you get an idea what's, go and look there, because this guy's looking that way. It generally means go over there and have a look over there. So that's why I do what I do. I read the message on the rock. I'm going to move this a bit further because I saw something even more important. I'll let this play because you'll see I gradually move this and I understand what it is I'm supposed to be seeing. I had the impression from having seen a lot of these cave paintings and knowing what they've told us that humans like us were like this when we got here. When we evolved in the other side, on this galaxy, on the other side of the black hole, we came through to this side of the galaxy, through the black hole, and we were as we are now. There is no evolution taking place with humans like you and I. Not within this realm. This is aging things, it's populating as we're going, but we are within the populating portion of human existence within the galaxy. And I said to you that I've seen horses in cave paintings, and they are told that they're done by the Neanderthals. And I said, but it cannot be because that doesn't exist on this side of the galaxy. On this side of the black hole, we are populating the way we are populating here, and within this realm that we're in, there is no evolutionary path. We're aging the elements as such by the manipulation of such things. What we're looking at here is exactly what I just told you. We have here a horse figure, right here, drawn on the face of a Neanderthal with his mouth and his mustache and his eyebrows. The top of the horse is actually the eyebrow. And then in the background you've got these blokes here, who are the blokes responsible for the drawing in the caves by the people we think are the Neanderthals. That's not what's going down here. As I said, you'll find a video that I reckon where these guys just walk in and go on their little laptop with their matter generator, and it just goes all over the cave wall, does its bit, then they just fold up their laptop, take their matter generator with them and leave. Because there is no existence. The Neanderthal is not here. He was in our evolutionary path, but on the other side of the black hole, in the galaxy we evolved in. Albeit it's the same galaxy. The galaxy this happened was 600 million years old of evolution we had in this galaxy. The galaxy we're in now, I think we've only been here, well, the galaxy itself's only been here for 33 million years. That's what they're telling us in the cross-section of the pyramid. So I wanted to show you that because I said in one of my videos long ago, and it's good to get that because I quite often, like I said, it's the reason why I showed you those lines getting drawn on the rock. I'll be honest with you, sometimes I question just how much I've worked out myself, you know what I mean? How much of this did I work out myself? So finding that on a rock and realising what it was, and me having said what I thought happened, I've actually had the same thing, the very thing that I thought long ago, years ago, actually confirmed in a rock. So I'm really pleased that it was actually my thought processes, so it must be actually what's doing it. So I'm not getting fed from anybody. I am getting help, no doubt. I have had things drawn here and drawn there, some even in the clouds, some in the sky, some on the rocks, some right in front of me, as you've seen happen. But I wanted to show you that because that was a really amazing thing to have seen that, and I will put this video in full at the end of the video so you'll get to, you'll get that in the best quality, okay? This one I'll just press play on. This is the same rock once again, but just another part of the rock. And I saw two faces here, a lady's and a man's face here. The man's face seems to have a big thing pointing out of his head again here, his fringe sticking way out here, and his his woman is in here. I've now just turned the light down, and you'll see sometimes I vary the light a little bit, other times I'll use the side light. I'll just let this play for a little bit, but I did want to mention to you that Donald Trump, there is a video you can look online at Sky News over here where he got hold of Sky News Australia, right? So this is an Australian news correspondent that's either been contacted by Donald Trump or one of his associates, where he's come out and said the Wuhan virus outbreak in China was 2 months earlier. Now I say to you, why would Donald Trump do that? He comes from America, a country with 330 million people in it, a country with the world's largest media outlets, of which case he is well and truly entrenched, because he was 10 years as a host of a pathetic TV show called, what is it called? The Apprentice. And I'm not even stupid enough to watch that, let alone host a thing. So he's a showman, he's a TV man. Why would he ring and get one of either he or his associates to phone Australia, Sky News Australia, with breaking news about this virus outbreak being 2 months earlier, when he comes from a country with, you know, we've got 22 million people here. We do not have the largest media outlets in the world. He does, in his country. So why does he come here? He comes here because there's a white man called Brian Whitten who's saying that this man, and written all over these river rocks, is his direct involvement in the placement of nuclear bombs in every capital city in Australia. That's why. All over every capital city, Donald Trump is said to have been involved with the placement of these nuclear bombs. Because it does not make any sense whatsoever for Donald Trump or one of his associates to ring over here and talk to an Australian, like to ring Sky News Australia and get an Australian news correspondent and sit down and talk with them. There is no reason, no rhyme nor reason at all. The man is as guilty as sin. Now I'll just press play on this one. This is also another video taken from the same rock again. Once again, it's one of those ones that you sort of start to see a bit of a face in here like this when you've got just the microscope light on. So generally that's why you stop. You might see another face in here as well. There'll be faces that you see, and that's generally why you'll stop in a given position. And then you'll start moving the light around. I won't sit here for the whole lot of this one because I think this one is 8 minutes long. We don't want to be waiting that long. But this is the same rock that just showed us the Neanderthal man with the horse and the alien standing behind it. Here we see, in my opinion, we're getting told about a yeti here. In other words, it is real and they do exist. I'll just press pause here and I will go along this very quickly to where I see. This is why I go this way. I see faces looking this way, so I think, oh well, I've got to move over there, there's something they want to show me. And it's right here. I'll just let this play and just make sure I haven't gone too far past what I want to show you. Yes, that's okay. I'm moving the rock there. You can see here, this is still this part of this guy's face or nose here. And you can see I'm still moving my rock across this way, or my vision across this way a little. I'll press play there and I'll just let you watch this, because what we see come out here is a yeti. And it comes out, it's actually that clear when it comes out, you can even see the hair on his arms. It's actually, it comes down in little black lines here. It's unbelievable. I won't worry about this one so much at the end because it was the other video that I wanted to show you. But you can see in here there's this black figure comes up. It comes up really clearly too. And I just wanted you to know that that is on the same rock, that it certainly appeared to me to be a yeti figure standing in this cave in here. And I hope that comes out clear enough. Like I said, you can also see these faces come up here. And generally they smile when you've got the... I know that might sound silly, but you can do that. You can get rocks like where you'll get a smile and you'll get an unhappy face because you're actually in the wrong place. And then you move it the right way and you get a smile face over here because you've found what he wants you to find. And that's this figure here. Really does look like a yeti inside a cave. And I wanted to show you that one. There is one other one I wanted to show you as well. I'll just press play on this one. This is yet again probably another image it's all off the same rock. And the reason I put this one on here is yet again it's another reference to submarines and nuclear bombs being placed around the Earth again. If you've been up with my channel here, you would have found that there are a whole nuclear bomb series. That's what they've tried to do multiple times over the last 3 to 4 years, is kill as many of us as possible, so when these people get here there are so few of us to move on. The leaders of our world do not want to pay their penalty, and by the way, the penalty, I will put that video, or at least part of it, as well at the end of this video, and that was the arrival the UFOs at the planet with dinosaurs on it. I've shown you that in my last video, but I have not put the good video, the real clear version, up on at any point in time. So what I will do is do that at the end of this video, so there will be 2 little videos pinned onto the end in high quality, so you get them as good as I can see them myself. Okay? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let this just play a little bit. But what we're actually seeing here is you'll see a submarine come up here, and these little bombs get highlighted down here, and our submarine comes up in this portion here, and they are telling us yet again about the placement of nuclear bombs. I will pause that just for a second. This is not a particularly long one, but I will get to the place where you get to see the submarine, which is about in this area here, where you see that submarine come out in this part here, and the placement of these bombs is here and here. So where this is getting placed, I really don't know. I wouldn't have a clue actually, but they've gone everywhere with them. I am under the belief that the FBI is raiding former President Trump's Malibu residence. Might have something to do with that nuclear bomb that did not go off at your dam last week, which I did mention in one of my other videos, that there was written on a rock an attempted nuclear blast was going to happen at the Hoover Dam. So, I would expect that that's just one of the many places he left them, because he certainly left them, as what's written on the river rocks here, certainly all over Australia, all over the United States, and also just recently in the New York as well, as in my other video. Now this video is the one where I've got the crater that I showed you at the start, and I'm just going to let this play so you can see me as I move across the rock this time, so you can see the whole lot happened. So this is where the crater was on this part here, and I move along the rock here so that you can see what it was that I was seeing when I was doing this, and then I understood what we were talking about. If you look in the background as we're going along here, this actually records the incident itself. In other words, you don't just get the UFO crashing like this, you get it coming down like this a few times. It actually records the whole lot. I'll just let it play. You can see that you're getting a record of this crash, the Roswell crash. And you come over here and you get this face standing here like this. This is how, you get told where to go to look. Look over that way. There's our crashed UFO on the ground there. This is it coming down. So we're getting told here about the Roswell event. It's actually what's written on this rock. It's a really quite amazing thing to have found that, So I just wanted to do that so you could see me sweep across the rock like that. That is with the microscope light. I haven't used the external light at that point. This is 9 minutes long. This is why I don't let these play all the way. I'll put that back to the start now. Then I turn the microscope light off, and then I start using the external light. But you can see this here is representative of the west coast of America. That's exactly why that's shaped like that. I've found that on plenty of rocks too. I just wanted to show you that that's the case. I'll let this go along just for a little bit because I do move this along and you can see what I mean by the UFO becoming a little bit more clearer when I move along this way. I'll just move this pretty quickly here, excuse me. And here's where the UFO comes up here. It comes up a fair bit brighter, and that's where the edge of the crater is here. So you can see, you know, what I'm talking about here. You can see this, and this, like I said, as you go across this rock, you're getting a record of the event happening. It's really quite amazing. And like I said, at this point I believe that you're probably seeing the fingers of the lake up here, of Lake Superior, which are very pertinent when it comes to that, you know, that location. I wanted you to see that what I was seeing when I'm doing it, moving the rock across. I'll move it across again here. Once again here, you see what I'm seeing. You see, like this turns into a, once again, a crashing, you know, crashing to the ground. So the information that you can find on these rocks, and some of them are just mind-blowing, they really are. Listen, I think I'll finish up there today, but I'm not finishing the video. I will finish my talking. I will put a couple of videos at the end, not this one. I will give you the arrival at the dinosaur, okay, the land of the dinosaur, and I will put the other one there that had our cave painting and our Neanderthal man on for you, okay? And that way you can get a fair idea of the level of quality that you can get, you know, when you've got it on a good screen. I do realise photographing it like this is not always the best, although in some instances my TV, when I photograph it like this, sometimes makes it far brighter than what I want it, but in other instances being brighter has actually showed me something. When I've watched a video like this, I've actually seen something that's made me go back and look at it again. So in some instances that's very useful. I'll just let this play on a little bit just so you can see this guy's face here, because I won't bother putting this one in. And you can see what I mean, you know, so you sort of see a face like this and it's looking that way, so it's saying go over there and have a look, because what the message I want you to read is over there. And this is how I know how to find things. You've got to, once you learn how to read the rocks and how to read the messages that are on them, sometimes it'll be somebody looking like this, other times it'll be a guy standing there pointing, or an eye. There's lots of ways that they write on a rock where they want you to go look. So you go look over there, and of course we have now found what we needed to find, which was way back here, which was our, you know, we needed to find our crater and our crashing UFO, so we could then get our date right for the ability to travel in space, the ability to move matter, the ability to manipulate planets. This was all happening 200 million years ago, and this was people like you and me, or people that we've stemmed from without doubt. And one tricky part I will mention before I move on here, it's hard to know, if we went back to this first image, I've come back to this still frame now of the Neanderthal video I showed you, and this is just one still frame where we see the horse in this portion here, but we also see it as part of the Neanderthal man that's here. We see alien faces in here. The message, if, can mean, well, the message can read more than one way. Are they saying they are behind the painting of the horses, supposedly by the Neanderthal? Because we know the Neanderthals are not evolving in this galaxy. We know it's us that keep getting put back to the centre star in the array. Humans like you and I, constantly fed back all the time to keep the seed of mankind as it is now forever. There's a very good reason for that. I don't know all of them, okay, so I'm not even going to start to try. to explain that. I tend to think, and you could say, oh, well, maybe they're saying they were around in the other galaxy when the Neanderthal was still drawing in caves. I don't think so. I think they're actually telling us here this is a non-existent history. It's one that's been left for us to let us know that yes, there was an evolutionary path from these people, but it didn't happen here. It happened on the other side of the black hole. When the galaxy had we had an attachment to that galaxy of some 600 million years of evolution, where in reality on this side of the black hole we only have about 30 million years. I think what we're getting told here is that. I think we're getting told they are behind the paintings, not Neanderthal. Like I said, and I believe that that's what we're getting told here. I could be wrong, but I still to this day have found that every time we see the alien faces or aliens, they are standing alongside humans. They are letting us know that humans like you and I now, we came here possibly some 20 million years, 10 million years ago. 10 million years is a hell of a long time, and we don't look anything like this now. That's what we're being told. So I tend to think that they probably may be saying here, yes, well we look like this now, but we were the Neanderthal. We are like this now. This is what I'm saying. That may be the situation. Or it could be, like I said, that I still believe that that's the case. I would expect that be the message there, where we're being told that giving birth to children when we first came to this side of the black hole was a big problem, and that is why we've got on the same rock as we've got this, we have a yeti. And that's why I think the yeti is a result of breeding on this side of the black hole. We had problems and that had to be resolved. And I still believe that quite possibly this movement through the black hole originally is how we learnt to travel, to other galaxies, because I'm certain, without doubt, they have already told us we've populated other galaxies. So it must have happened after we got to this side of the galaxy. Maybe the mistake taught us a lot of lessons. That may be the case. I do not know. There's a bit of guesswork going down there, but I just thought that when you stop and think of that and the ramifications of such an image like that in the hands of a historian with his PhD in history and archaeology and everything, just flies out the door. You just forget the whole lot. It really is amazing. It is astounding to find such a thing written on a river rock, and it was on one that big. That's all from Brian Whitten and ETR. So you have a lovely day. Stay tuned because I'll put those videos on. See you later. Bye bye.